Hi guys, welcome to excellent conversations. The very first episode on the channel. I'm here with obviously my co-host for the B. We are audio review, so welcome, Charlotte.
Hello.
So tonight on the agenda things first, Charlotte wants to discuss us a show that she's been watching recently in Netflix. So Charlotte, do you want to kick things off with what you want to talk about first?
Yeah, no, our television recently we got Netflix by being added on to another family's account, and I'd heard about The Witcher. I'd heard it's really good. It's got no politics in it, and I'd heard about it, but I didn't have a way to watch it, and now
Yeah,
I have a way to watch it. I'm about halfway through the first series because I watch it when I can, and it's as good as I didn't know if it wasn't gonna live up to the hype because I'd heard a lot of like Fandom Menace people and people we knew say, "Oh, it's a really good watch. You should watch it," and it's really good. Like
yeah,
because I'm a fan of the games, so I was a little bit nervous because obviously it's a different version, so it's like an adaptation of an adaptation at this point. So, and I'm used to Geralt, who's the main character with a certain voice in the games. So I was like, oh, I'll see what it's like. And Henry Cavill, he's so good. Like he's just the right amount of broody. He's just the right amount of like sarcasm because Geralt as a character, if you know the games, he's very dry witted. He doesn't speak a lot, but he's very good at doing like one put down liners. And if you see Henry in any interviews, he's very charismatic. He's lovely. He's cheerful. He's a really genuine bloke. He's like the opposite of Geralt, basically. So it's really impressive to see him basically transform into this Witcher who's people don't like him. If you know any of the backstory of the character, he's a mutant, is the easiest way to describe it. So and it's set in medieval like fantasy. So they all sort of call him names and spit on him, they and he's a monster hunter. So they need him, but they don't like him, if that makes sense.
yeah.
So he's a
Yeah,
very interesting character, and Henry's pulled it off.
yeah. So it's kind of based on the whole fantasy element, then like in the early, and then like shows like that, like Erwin Shoebox Zoo, which was one of my favourites, growing up as a kid.
Well, the
Uh,
Witcher were a bunch of books, and
mhm,
they're sort of Polish folklore. So it's sort of
yeah,
books that are fantasy, and the
mhm,
author's taken a lot of Polish myth because he's a monster hunter. So
yeah,
a lot of the creatures come from actual myth. So
mhm,
but it's very dark fantasy. I will say that. Like Merlin's very light, whereas this is
yeah.
it's a bit Game of Thrones like with the violence and people horrible in this. That's another thing I think I quite like. That you have female characters, you have male characters who are just I don't
See,
know how to describe it. They get horrible things done to them and they do horrible things to others.
see, you touched on Game of Thrones. See, the thing that kind of puts me off about Game of Thrones is like the fact that the fact that easy Williams is in it, and like for I mean, know them about 50 countless conversations we've had that I cannot stand me easy with Williams.
Yeah, it's like I said. And that's another thing. There's like two, like Geralt's the main character, but there's Yennefer and Ciri, who are both female. And I was like, nowadays, because of what's happened with so much entertainment, I've naturally got my back up when I see like female characters, which I don't like to be like this, but I've got to that stage now. So
Yeah.
I was like, oh, let's see how you do these two. And Yennefer, she's selfish, she's needy, she's powerful, like she has these massive faults. So that's what I love. Like they could have gone really woke with her, and they haven't.
So I'm gonna ski something is it a series a start does it does the series have any established actors or is it all one ones?
I think Henry's obviously a big name because he did
Yeah,
this. He got this role after the Superman stuff.
yeah.
I'm trying to think of this. I can't think of any other big to mind that comes to mind. I think he's the main big name. I could be wrong,
Yeah,
but watching it. But that's the thing as well. Like the actors, you just forget. They just become the characters.
yeah.
Even like I said, I forget it's Henry Cavill when I watch it. I'm like, oh, Geralt. Also, the makeup obviously helps with the white hair. If you've seen any pictures of this character, he's got like long white hair. He's got like wolf eyes.
Yeah.
He the amount of makeup helps, but it's still you. I forget that this
Yeah.
is like I said, Henry Cavill.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple of pictures online and stuff like that, but I just haven't really looked into it with any in-depth sort of details. See, you know me, Charlotte, I'm a bit of a fussy shite when it comes to TV, basically, and like as well, what was I going to ask you? How many series has it run for? Is that
They've
just the first
they've
series?
only done one, and it's I
Mm-hmm.
think it's eight. And I think that I don't know if they're filming the second one or they're due to film the second one.
Mm-hmm.
But and there's another the Bard character. I'm terrible with names. He's adorable because he's like Geralt's sidekick, and he's very chatty and quite happy. So you've got that dynamic of Geralt who's like grunts half of his lines, like he hardly speaks,
Yeah.
and then you've got the Bard character who's like constantly talking. So when you have episodes with those two in, it's like a comedy skit almost between them.
So, like I said, so yeah, that was the next question I was going to ask. So, as a like a comedic element to it, even though it's like dark fantasy, is some moments of comedy in it
Yeah,
as
I
well.
think it's dialogue. It's like I said, it's Geralt can not say a lot, and then he can just come like and like the monsters. They're like there's a I can't say some of the lines because they swear, but like it's very dry. Like that's the word I'd use, and
It's alright, because this channel's uncensored anyway, so fire away.
no, but it's like there's a scene with the Bard where he makes Geralt go to a
Yeah,
ball with him, and you've got this big hulk and Henry's a tall guy, so you've got this big hulking guy, and he's in like it's like this tailor's outfit. It's really not. It doesn't suit him, and like
yeah.
people could in the scene and will go up to him and say, "Why are you dressed like a tailor?" Like they'll comment on how stupid he looks in the outfit,
Yeah,
and like I said, it's very Yesuke, I think he's called the Bard. And he'll comment
yeah.
like, "Why are you doing that? Like,
Mhm.
what are you doing?" Like I said, it's a very unlikely pair setup in the episodes, because it's also quite clever that these certain episodes won't have some characters in, and other episodes you'll see a lot of the characters, so they sort of scatter who they concentrate on.
So like there'll be a couple of episodes focusing on a set of characters, and then after they've had their sort of character development, their focus is shift to another group of characters, and then it just builds up sort of gradually. So you do get a whole roster of established character roster in
Yeah,
that.
so you'll get like half an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'll get like half an episode where you won't even see Geralt.
Yeah.
But that works because he's in then enough scenes that you go, oh, this is what he's doing. It's just we're talking about Yennefer this episode, or we're setting up Ciri, or the big villain, like that. Like I said, because it's medieval fantasy, the villain's like treated very much like this just imposing force that you see each episode what they're doing a bit, but it doesn't fully reveal what their plans are.
Yeah. So like, it sounds interesting. I should really check that out. But although, like, I don't feel like having forgot any of my money for obvious reasons, which we won't go into on the stream because I don't want the stream to get taken down on ghost. But in
No.
terms, but in terms of other news that's going around, going around the whole sort of pop culture and pop culture stuff, I find certain and certain and certain and certain culture like did you get a chance to did you get a chance to see the RTE and the RTE's kind of offered to hand over on the scripts in 1985 over to Big Anish and like apparently you're going to adapt it into a 6 story, so yeah. And forget did you see that today? Because it was on the Outpost Scarrow official Twitter account and stuff like
No,
that.
I didn't know he was doing Big Finish. I knew he was doing a show, but I didn't know the Big Finish news, which it makes sense. Because he comes across as the type that he probably was writing quite a few Doctor Who things before he brought the show back. So and they'd be daft not to adapt it at this stage. I'm surprised it's Sixth Doctor though. That's an odd one. I didn't think it'd be that Doctor he would write something for.
I thought that he would probably I do agree with. Yeah, I mean, I thought he would have probably wrote for. I thought he probably would have wrote for Sylvester McCoy. Now,
No, I thought about Tom Baker. I thought he would have written like the script for that Doctor.
And yeah, but let me tell you my theory on that, right? Because like season 26, especially survival, is kind of based on the whole sort of Oz type of storytelling where you go back to Perryville and they go back to Perryville and you're introduced to aces and friends and family background. So so I thought like we were going to get a wee bit more, or a wee bit more of the character development for a wee bit more of the character development, and yeah, but then obviously but obviously on the Facebook live stream you probably heard that he had wrote it in 85 when Colin Baker was still
Ah,
at
that
the
makes sense.
helm. And
That would that'd be daft, and it does show. I agree when people say he's not done. Like I think Russell, yes, he wouldn't want to fully do it again because he knows how much work it is to fully helm it. But I think he's always going to have something in his heart. He's always going to
yeah,
be able to write something for this show.
I'm actually, and I'm actually quite surprised that after he hadn't actually decided to get his eighth Octa Time or story finally published because they're coming out with some more target novelizations and if you paid attention to that story and all the social media the accounts you saw like a target sort of and you saw like a target sort of art cover design. So so I would so I'm surprised that he's not actually if followed that up and got that actually published.
Could be
Yeah.
an agreement because Big Finish seem to be the ones now fleshing out the Time War.
Mm-hmm.
Like even though Russell obviously
Yeah.
introduced the concept, it seems to be Big Finish's
Yeah.
purview now
Mm-hmm.
that they're fully like making it realized with the Eighth Doctor and the War Doctor stuff they do.
Yeah.
So maybe it's that. And yes, Agent, it is Yesuke. I've said it wrong. That's the Bard character. And the actor's
Mm,
also very, very, very lovely because in interviews he's very humble and he can sing. That's the thing. He's a bard, so he needs to be able to sing, and he's got a really nice bard voice. But back to Russell, yeah,
yeah.
and it's just Big Finish. It's another thing that they can market and grab attention with for next year if this is coming out next year.
Yeah.
It's
Um.
ridiculous how much they're going to just be hogging the limelight.
Yeah, and I think as well, he's kind of disappointed with how the whole aliens versus lizards sort of, but I know if series kind of turned out because um b- 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 um because it only lasted for 3 series
I
and
never
like
watched it.
and like and like I started to watch it. I mean watched them the very first series and a bit of series two, but like bit but like during series two, you started to feel like oh, this is just this is just a shit version and this is just a shit version of Sarah Jane Adventures because quite a few of the stories are adaptations um, from spirits that are supposed to are supposed to be commissioned, but obviously they couldn't be um, filled due to the unfortunate passing of Elizabeth Sladen, and unfortunately, as of the aliens didn't really have that on a cast either. It was more like there was no real chemistry with them, and RTE has said Ed, that he says that the series is on hiatus due to financial reasons now. I don't necessarily believe that, to be honest with you. I
That
think
sounds
this,
like a nice excuse.
yeah, I think the series actually bombed. No, well, because let me tell you, I mean, the reason the only series that has ever been released on Orient even is obviously the very was obviously the very first series. I mean, series 2 and 3 have yet to eh, have yet to have DVD and Blu-ray result.
Yeah, that's not a
Mm,
good
It's
sign.
just, yeah, uh,
That they've. But I'm guessing it got to three series purely off Russell's name then.
yeah,
Because usually if something dies, it gets like two series on CBBC.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
they don't tend to keep stuff around.
yeah, yeah, well, that's one get Harry and the only series to be released on DVD Dolores series and so like I don't really believe that it's on hiatus due to the financial reasons because because if that were the case he'd still be drafting scripts for the show right now, but he moved on to years and years, which was kind of awesome.
I
Opinion, it
didn't
was
watch it.
overhyped.
I was tempted.
Um, yeah, shit, don't bother.
Daniel's succinct review there. No, I knew it was coming out, and I saw some of the actors in it, and then I think the problem is with me in TV now, and I think like The Witch is an example of that, and a few other things.
Yeah,
It has to really grab me, or I found that in general TV, there's like two shows on the BBC that I properly watch and I look forward to, and that's
yeah.
about it. And then obviously I'll probably start watching some on Netflix now. We've got it, but it has to really grab me because my interest is just so low at the moment for TV.
See, the only things I watch and I put here are like old doctor. I am a like I sort of like I sort of like the I said to take about the doctor have episodes like Battlestar Galactica, which I'm gonna start at the beginning, which I'm gonna
You've forgotten
start
about
the
plot then.
beginning again because I forgot what episode I was on, but like it, yeah, but yeah, I'll start that again soon. But I was enjoying that as well, and it's interesting to sort of see that the BBC are sort of like outsourcing other content or like Battlestar Galactica, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, which I've been watching again recently, and I told it's interesting to see um because all that sort of stuff's shown up in BBC's content library, but in terms of sci-fi as well, you can really get a sense that BBC aren't really in the whole sort of sci-fi aspect. to do um because of and because of basically the because of basically in not getting them stress no likes and likes but enough for anymore and you saw all the sort of effort they put in and and you saw the sort of effort they put in and kill asses with hell because kill ass with is an abomination. But yeah, but in terms of but yeah, in terms of other stuff, awful. Like I started the second and coalition. Oh, the very first story called each head, which is essentially um which is essentially the doctor of hell in traveled into 2007 and written your brother as Owen even the stig and and an investigating of a woman called the um killed the odd and actually reminds me and actually is some and actually feels like a job on pair to be sort of story because you get sort of references to the you get sort of references to as or and obviously with the but again you're within that story and it does kind of feel like something out of pair to his era, but like I've noticed as well, coalition like is a bit more experimental, whereas archives is a bit more of is a bit more tied up and is a bit more tied up in the whole arc with all but whereas I'm finding that the coalition's a bit more experimental in terms of the stories.
Yeah, so how many are you in? The first one you said? You've just listened to one story for that?
Yeah, yeah, just and yeah, just in the very first story, the second book opposite. So like, so yeah, I mean, like as well, and like as well, like I can kinda, I'm enjoying it, but I do think Archives is a stronger series. Because you get because you had more of an idea what was going to happen, but this it just kind of seems experimental at the
Well, they
moment.
seem to like to do that with the Eighth Doctor, I've realised. Like,
Yeah,
they seem to like, with all his box sets,
mhm,
to have a bit of an experiment.
yeah,
Like, Dark Eyes, I'm going to listen to some more at the weekend, because I need to re-listen to one so I can write the review for the Facebook page,
yeah,
and
mhm,
then I'll probably listen to probably one more or two, so I can get back in the rhythm a bit because I had a bit of a break. And from
yeah,
what I've got so far from Dark Eyes, I can see how you can. Yeah, it is. It's very sci-fi, but yes,
yeah,
I'd agree it's very character. But
yeah,
I think that works with Ray because I think he's sort of that romantic. Even I think even I don't know how you feel about the Eight Doctor in this sense, but I think even late Eight, he still retains a bit of that romantic nature.
yeah, and
It's
like
just obviously hardened a bit, and it's not like he was in the movie.
And yeah, like, and that can be attributed to the answer to the F, the swim only, the swim only gets killed in that story.
You mean Lucy?
Oh yeah, shut up. Yeah, so, yeah, so, in the very first book, Oxford, in the very first book, Oxford, the archives, but I want to, I want to those that haven't listened to it yet. I mean, it's kinda sort of, it's kinda sort of, it's kinda sort of old to onto oh in the in the beginning of that whole arc, because you can kind of because you can kind of tell that it kind of felt responsible for responsible for for on Lucy's and and Lucy's but like as you go through it still alters and you start to actually you get you start to actually see the time odds and you use them as a on
Oh yeah, I
and
love the scenes of
yes,
him and the Time Lord
yeah,
because you really get that venom that they
yeah,
do just drop in on him, and they're like, "Oh, we're
yeah,
gonna use you for this mission," and then they just leave. So
yeah,
it's very much this sort of "I have to work with you" vibe, but I hate doing
yeah,
it, and
mhm,
that's I've said this before on social media. It is now listening to Big Finish with the Time Lords being such a presence. It
yeah,
does make me sort of think, what if for the modern run we had them, or even if they didn't want to fully bring them back, they had a few knocking around, because I do think it's a very interesting dynamic. That sadly, because of the Time War, just because of the way that worked out, we didn't really have that in a modern run.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah, no, there's a difficult one because obviously they were wanted to because obviously also also wanted to keep did to keep the old fans, but yeah, he wanted to reduce and he wanted to to reduce and so
I
like husband into the show, yeah, and like it was always going to be hard to kind of balance and so that to be honest, I mean, can you imagine all these time of characters if they had spur on up in the and then Ariel also episodes both me and you would be like, who the hell's that guy and who the hell she type of
yes, that's
and
what I think.
yeah,
Maybe they could have just made like one series,
yeah,
like drop a Time Lord or something,
yeah,
and not have them in every episode, because then it would just get ridiculous.
yeah, mm-hmm,
Sort of like have give like a peer behind the curtain, sort of. But we'll never know. But it's interesting what if to think.
yeah. Like, I mean, because we're just starting to actually get a bit more context and about why the op or hates the time on to what if the big for initial. tales, and if you're not really interested, if you're not really interested in the Time Lords as a concept, guys, I don't think Big Finish is an avenue for you because the Time Lords are like essential plot for Big Finish models because sooner later it all comes back to the Time Lords in some shape or form.
There'll be some stories. Obviously, not every single story has them in. Like there will be some. Like
Yeah,
obviously, off my head, like spare parts. Some of the earlier stuff, some of the other Doctors runs. It's not as Time Lord heavy. But
yeah.
I think the Eighth Doctor, you need to have. You need to. It's just part of his run, the Time Lords. So if you don't like them, the Eighth Doctor probably isn't for you on audio.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, so like, you did, so yeah, and then, and so in terms of his companions as well, we're like the majority of his companions that I've like gotten introduced to so far, well apart from Charlie, and it's nothing against the actress. I'm sure she's a person, but my God, that posh accent goes through you.
Well, like I said, I didn't love or hate Charlie. I don't really have a strong opinion otherwise. I think the actress they have good chemistry, her and
Yeah.
Paul, but I can't like it's not I detest her like I do Clara, or I don't love her like I do Lucy. So
Well, instead, instead, Kara, I used to tell she tells the eighth doctor that she's in love with him,
yeah.
so it's basically like and those all so it's basically like and always before that was a thing, but terms of in terms of other shows and maybe maybe like movies and stuff, is is there any is there any shows or anything like that that are coming out that you're looking forward to see?
The only movie is Ghostbusters Afterlife because it's a rare occasion where they basically, without saying it, said, "Yeah, that reboot with the females, we're not referencing it. It's never happened. We're just gonna do what we should have done in the first place." Situation, which is a proper handing over the torch movie by the looks of it, and it's got the
Yeah.
original producers. So whenever I see that, like they seem to understand, like, yeah, you did a real stupid thing with that Ghostbusters 2016. So that's got me interested. Uh, Pretty much not. I have some shows, but they're not really pop culture stuff that
See,
I'm looking forward to.
see, to be honest with you, Charlotte, that and takes it in the reboot. I can't get past the first half an hour. Oh my God, it's
It's
painful.
it's everything that was it was the warning, wasn't it? Really, if you think that happened,
Yeah,
then everything else, and it was like, oh, that was our warning shot.
yeah, because because I'm a big fan of the Men in Black movies, but I'm never even I'm never even
Oh,
bothered.
I don't blame you.
I'm never even bothered with Men in Black International. When I saw that trailer, I'm like, nah, I'm not up your arse, dude. Particularly because
Yeah, but that was fully in the phase when they were confident with these things, wasn't it?
yeah,
Like, yeah, we're gonna do a trailer which basically insults one gender, or we're just gonna put our cards on the table sort of situation. Because, like I said, it's because of the way certain things have gone in media now. If I see a female lead, I instantly go, "Is it going to be any good?" Like they've done the opposite of what they wanted to. They've made me nervous.
See, I was like that when I had, I was like that when I started watching the 2004 Battlestar Galactica with E.T. Sarkov as Starbuck. Like I thought, oh my god, she's gonna. I thought, oh my god, she's gonna turn into really suit. Like, he's going to turn into a Mary Sue type character, but like no, no, and I think that's what or it's actually. I think that's what it's actually created. There's some sort of year about every every time you see that there is now because like obviously it's affected because obviously it's affected the many franchise of Who and Ghostbusters and all of the
Star Wars.
yeah, and now you kind of feel a bit apprehensive every time that there's a female each character because they kind of have an idea and you kind of have an idea where it's going to go. Oh, do you know what I mean? And like, to be honest, if you like Star Wars especially, like I've not even went back to since obviously the rise of shit, what kind of I like to call it, my god, that movie is atrocious, but like, I've not actually went back yet to any of the older Star Wars movies since, and and since and you've had and you have had people who are like we can and Jenny Bill on movie and people who like the and people like discuss assess with me private we're going to get this a try not but you're like you're a bit apprehensive because because you've just basically witnessed what happened in the rise of stuff I will all kind of stuff like that so like for me we to give something for me, we to give something a chance now takes a lot for me, because like I'm just basically scared after what happened with
Yeah,
Star Wars and Doctor Who and
yeah.
whatnot.
You can only get bitten so many times that you
Mm-hmm.
go, "I'm going to stand back and let other people get bit." Like
Mm-hmm.
I did so.
Yeah,
I haven't watched Mandalorian, but I watched the Luke Skywalker return because I knew something had happened. Because Star Wars, I'm a bit more casual fan of. Like Doctor Who is always going to be my main sci-fi thing, but Star Wars was like a
yeah,
casual thing for me. And I knew something had happened because I just saw social media really happy, like Star Wars fans happy, and I was like, I've not seen this for about 3 years in this fandom, so something
yeah,
must have happened. And then
yeah,
I found out it was Luke, so I found the clip, and like I said, even casual,
yeah,
it got me just seeing Luke again, young, being a hero, being skillful, and it got me. And I can understand how
yeah,
that was such a big event for Star Wars fans because I do think right now in Hollywood and television, they don't understand the importance of characters. And what I mean by that is they don't understand that these characters are not just things we've watched on screen. They become real almost to us.
Yeah.
Watched a movie enough times, if you've watched a series for enough years, and they don't understand that if you tarnish that's a real painful thing. But if you can show us what we love, even if it's just in that Luke Skywalker moment for about 6 minutes or however long it was,
Uh,
it was Luke. And the music as well was brilliant they had, and it was just such a good scene, and it was just like, Hollywood, that's what you need to do.
and like,
Give us
and
our
yeah, and like to me as well, it's not just about the ending of the story because once you've seen once you've seen an episode or a movie that you already know the outcome, but it's a journey. It's a journey of the story that you always go back because you always find something about the journey. I find that you never picked up before, and there's nothing redeemable about any of these franchises in recent years because they don't have that journey that you always go back because you can't pick up anything new from it.
Yeah, it's because characters can't have faults. And this will always boggle my mind. Like, if you look at Luke, for example,
Yeah,
he wasn't a perfect Jedi. In the first movie, he's a kid who doesn't know what he's doing. Like, he gets
yeah,
knocked out within, like, the first 20 minutes of that movie by the Sand People.
yeah.
Um, he doesn't fight Darth Vader. He sort of scampers away. He does rescue Leia, but she has a lot to do with that. Han has a lot to do with that. And like, in the second movie, just when he's starting to get powerful and showing skill, he's cocky. He goes after Darth Vader, and he gets his hand chopped off and nearly dies. So he gets a beat
Yeah.
down, and it's only in the third movie, and even then, he doesn't technically save the day. It's Darth Vader sacrificing himself.
Yeah,
So
and
even in
but
the third movie, he's not saving the day. That's
and
why
yeah,
you love Luke.
but I don't know if you know this about the Sith or General Charlotte. Eventually, all Sith are supposed to turn on the master anyway. It's interesting or stuff or words that like eventually a circle or the on
Yeah, but
us.
that's usually for power, from what I can
Yeah.
understand.
Mhm.
Whereas in that movie, it's a father saying, "I'm going to sacrifice myself for my son," and that's the
Uh,
power of that moment. But Luke's he's not perfect, and the people who seem to have that weird argument that they all argue who he is, it's like, no, that's why Luke Skywalker is Star Wars. And I'm saying this
yeah.
as a casual person, like, who's
Mhm.
my wheelhouse? But it just showed that thing with the Mandalorian, just the reaction you saw. People were
Yeah.
crying, people were just beside themselves because they got their hero back.
Yeah.
And if the other franchises could just wake up to that and just realize that these characters, they mean so much to the fans, and just stop tarnishing them and stop corrupting them.
Yeah.
Ray is a Mary Sue.
I would say that she's a planker. It's given her having her the term Eric Sue's about him. a bit too kind. She's just a plank away. She's got no personality at all, and the only reason why she was picked is because number one of the politics, and she's out, and number two, it's because of the way she and because of the way she looks as well. So those are the only the two reasons why she was picked, because she fits Kathleen Kennedy's ideology.
Yeah, and also Kathleen Kennedy just she doesn't care about character.
Okay.
Look at how they wrote like Poe. He could have been a great character. He could have been the sort of Han Solo cocky pilot sort of archetype, but different.
Yeah. And because Eleanor Charlotte, see the thing is with these movies and TV shows like obviously like past episodes of Doctor Who and stuff. I feel like that your and like your time is kill classics, whereas these new eras of franchises aren't going to be fond the way remember of the moment. And seeing a like, people will just forget they even exist though because they're that bad.
Yeah, and it's because it's if you put politics, if
Yeah,
if you don't think, because we've sort of said this in private, we watching Russell stuff with his
yeah,
religion. There was politics there.
yeah,
He created Captain Jack.
yeah,
Like he wasn't shy about it. But you forget that. You almost get swept up in the story and the character.
mhm.
I mean, only Russell. Like when I first watched Aliens, is it? Oh, the Slitheen two-parter. Is it World War Three?
Yeah, yeah, the aliens are landing on it was Freddy. That's a two-part
Yeah.
episode of
Obviously, when I
Echo.
first watched that, I didn't know about. I wasn't like savvy to the news or the politics. But watching it now, I'm like, oh, he's talking about Iraq. He's
Yeah,
basically doing a criticism of the government and the whole secret weapons and using that to create a war. But you wouldn't. But what's the story on the surface? Massive green aliens that pass wind. Like
yeah,
that's how clever that is in that sense.
and and like and and like I'm going to open myself up for a bit of ridiculous here, but that's actually my guilty pleasure story. That's one of my guilty pleasure stories. I love that to after. I just think it's a. I just think it's a nice little light-hearted sort of story. I mean, I enjoy it for its comedic value.
See, for me,
Hell,
it's Boomtown. That's my like underrated story in series one. I adore Boomtown.
yeah, well, but sometimes good as well. But when we get to the David Tennant, either I know what you're going to do, so that's because I um, because I laughed and um, because because I asked to like a high like a hyena when when you told me that should have yeah, that should have been a string. I was actually surprised when you said yeah, and then when you went into detail, I just lost it.
Yeah, because you have to. It's like how I can watch the Adam. What's it? Batman 60, the Batman show from the 60s.
Yeah, that is a great TV show I've got, and I've got I've got I've got all three these series. I've got all three series in really. Um, so
Yeah, you just don't take it seriously. You just go, this is camp, and he's running about in like tiny shorts, and there's the shark repellent. It's just like, just don't take it seriously. Just go with the flow.
how many times did that guy say the council got a result? Isn't that something more?
Oh
Wasn't
yeah,
it?
it was a lot.
Yeah, I probably get up to about a week. I think that
And
at
he
the
had the
same
most like London like Cockney accent.
yeah. At the same point as well, Charlotte, when if you're a kid, then why would you draw like such a despicable
Yeah, no,
comparison?
it's worse than that. You're a kid, and it's obviously repressed memories of the
Yeah,
dad. So why would you draw such a big version? Would you not draw a tiny one? Not like, yeah, I'm gonna draw something that's the size of my wardrobe. And she knew they were coming alive, or she knew they were living.
yeah,
She has a line where she tells them to shut up, so she knows
yeah,
they become living creatures that she draws. So yeah, I'm
yeah.
gonna draw a massive version of my abusive dad. Why?
I should, I should do.
Like,
So
you're
yeah,
a kid.
that as well. Then there's some elements of that story that I did find a bit cool over as well. The Scarabble monster I did find sort of cool over that was an interesting concept, but the rest of it's just a sort of apart from some nice character moments of obviously and Piper, but like the cast in that story were just odd awful, which was actually surprising for a story in that era because usually the guest cast, but I can era were in particular a strong cast, but unfortunately in that story they were all about shite as well.
They literally probably got people from the street, mate. They just
Yeah.
had that air of, we've got like how many weeks left to film this? Okay. But here's the funny thing. How much time do you think they wasted trying to do that cat shot, do you think?
About I would say about maybe a few years or
Just to
maybe
get a
a
cat to go in a box.
yeah. Yeah, well, you know what they say, never quick and animals and children. Isn't so like that moment, yeah, but that moment, but that must have took about in 2003 shots just to get that perfect.
Yeah, like, oh, what's the cat? Oh, the cat's gone in another direction, or the cat's
Yeah,
licking itself. Or you can just imagine.
yeah,
Yeah, no. But that's the thing, even when Russell did a bad episode like that, it still had charm
mm-hmm,
for all the wrong reasons, though.
mm-hmm.
Because I'm sorry, I know some people are like that with Love and Monsters, but I just don't see it. I want to like hit Peter Kay for most of that episode.
I'd be very in, I'd be very interested to see those two stories are getting novelization already,
Why?
because if and because well, And because at the moment I ain't prove it so right, you know, think about it.
No, I'm now picturing them having to write Peter Kay's dialogue.
Oh God, yeah.
Like, especially when he's transformed, because he becomes. This is the thing that did make me giggle about that. He
Yeah.
becomes more northern when he becomes an alien. Like the Bolton accent is properly out when he's in his natural skin.
See, to be honest, I enjoyed them up until he transformed them. I mean, I think he was given a good performance before he transformed into
Oh, I
the
wouldn't say that.
Zobber. I would say it's pretty decent, and then any transforms into the Absorber, and then that episode hits the skids.
Yeah, like I said, you've got an alien from Raxicolic of Valabator. No, where's he from? Clon. Clon. That's it. Because it's like a cousin of Sylvie, isn't it? Like you've got this
Yeah.
alien from Clon, which is running about going like, "Hey up, mate!" He's from Bolton, and I'm just like, why? Like,
I did enjoy, Jackie in that episode where Jackie was the best part
oh,
of
she was the
that
best part. That scene
episode.
when she kicks him out. I love that scene.
As I call the actor the you, cause do you remember me telling you used to be
Yeah.
in tea adverts for organ
See, I knew him from
for
Hustle.
organ
I
organs,
knew that
yeah.
actor from Hustle,
Mm-hmm.
and he looked like he hadn't aged at all from that show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which is funny. Then when he was the villain in one of the Musketeers series, so I was like, oh, it's you from Love and Monsters.
I don't know if you I don't know if you realised that about aliens are one thing as well, but see the actress that is and see the actress that is on Oxford, well she's the she's kind of the she's kind of the Ox or in the unit. He says
Oh
with
yeah, she's the one who
Elsa,
gets caught, isn't she?
uh, uh,
No, Russell was good at that. He would seed characters, and they'd pop up or they'd become a spin-off.
yeah,
Like he was so good at spin-offs. I honestly think that's why we've not had a good one since Russell's run, because Moffat, God love him, tried, didn't work, and without going too much into the current person, he can't even get a whole series out a year, so he's got no chance to get a spin-off going.
I I still get around and kill your spin off yet, Charlotte.
Oh God, no! Some people were like, "Oh, let's have a Ryan spin-off," and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Why?" There's,
yeah,
you know, my nickname for that character. Yeah, there's a reason I call him that.
yeah.
Because he's just like, yes, we've had this before, and it was better with Russell. Don't try.
Yeah, and I'm actually, the, I'm actually surprised that all this going. And I'm actually surprised that they haven't managed to convince to get kill Art back either. That's one of the most surprising things that they haven't tried uh, to
Because he's
get
busy. He
somebody
doesn't
like
need
to
he
work
doesn't
back.
need the show.
Yeah. Uh,
It'd be interesting if Mickey did. Obviously, I wouldn't want him currently, but in the future, I would be up for
uh,
Mickey popping up again. Because Mickey was, if you think about where he went from his first episode to his last, that was a complete transformation.
Yeah. Yeah, and like to be honest, if you because see, because as the first and because as the first series yet like I really because I really didn't connect to his character at the time, but um by series really when I started to connect to the character and I really go back to do and I really go back again to do as he's and you find yourself going I didn't connect to him in the first
I
in
think
the first
that's the way he was
book
written a bit.
and
He was sort of the layabout boyfriend, wasn't he?
mhm, yeah.
And then obviously Russell used that to sort of motivate him to change and be better.
Yeah.
And then he got your girlfriend at the end, so all's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I was so jealous of
I
him at
bet
the
you
end of
were.
that. So it was like that. Yeah, I remember when I hated you, you fuck. Yeah.
Especially as she had her lovely
Yeah.
long hair in the final
Oh,
shot, which I think Rima looks lovely when she has long hair.
yeah. Like, I'm actually going to show some photos and actually got to come on to the channel.
No, this would be like Rabbi Perry all over again, Daniel. Don't.
I'm trying to be the perfect gentleman
You
that
try
would.
and be good
Yeah.
and not scare her.
Well, a probable is near half my audience anyway with some of the shit that I come out with now, so like you probably so you can so you probably have to and you probably have to ask me the best of can that one that I don't have to get somebody like that on my channel to be and they could be a little but but yeah but in terms of like financial ordeals I'm surprised that and for uh, they haven't to get their own series yet because you can tap into the because you can tap into the info the info from the end of time because you see them getting chased by us and Iverson Arden, so obviously they're off doing their own interest. I'm surprised, but I finish having to attend to.
Yeah, but here's the
I
thing. I
can
don't want Big Finish to just become the spin-off place. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I'd like some characters to just to be left and for me to sort of imagine what happened.
yeah,
Like some, I can understand the one, but I just think I think that there's always a danger, isn't there, of knowing too much,
yeah.
of being told too much.
Yeah, and I don't think, yeah, and I don't think that you are looking forward to the devils. I don't think they are looking forward to the Ori upset the Ori upset either, which is surprising because it's set within the sort of series 5 and the series 5 arc in a sense, and I know that's your favourite Doctor, so it's surprising. So it's surprising that you've not actually taken to the announcement of the last Centurion upset because I really because I really felt when you saw I really felt when I saw this upset I thought Charlotte ain't fancy this upset but when I approached you about it you're just like nah I'm not bothered and I was taken aback by that if I'm honest.
Like I said, I think some companion stuff I like just
Yeah,
when their story ends in the show, whether that's a good or bad ending. And it's sort of, and like I said, I think Rory works best when he's with Amy or the Doctor.
yeah.
You-
By the way, that comment's pretty funny.
Oh, we would have no, Chris. We'd need intervention if that happened for both of them.
Yeah.
Like we'd have to just like desensitize them and get them to speak English again.
Okay. I can behave when I want to behave. I just choose not to anymore.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
How many times have I had to be like the responsible adult in
yeah,
messages with you?
yeah.
And I'm
Uh,
like, Daniel, don't.
Yeah. So yeah, apparently to pick up on the Hobbs comment, yeah, as I said in my Sarah Jane Adventures 5, during Ace was actually supposed to be in Series 6 because Series 6 had already been commissioned and Ace was um supposed to get a story. Now some of the some of the unaired stories have the titles, but this is a story that doesn't have a title because the title for Ace's story wasn't decided on at that point. It's an interesting point from the hub, and as well, Ace is in the kill. As odd news that came out, that came out a few years ago. I haven't, and they would you checked them out because I do think kill acid is the oxygen in it. Fuck to be honestly, I think it was kind of pointless. It's not, I mean, because I do, like, here's my honest thoughts on kill acid as a spinner. Um, kill acid and kill acid. I wasn't sure about who it was aiming at. No, well, because you knew with them Oxford it was aiming it was aiming at adult. Well, she had either Jane Adventures for kids and you had I've heard for everybody, but it is kill. I kind of felt as though one minute it was aiming for a more Sarah Jane Adventures and odd means, but and in the next episode it was aiming at a more archway. It but the starting so there's no either there was no either about about who the show was aimed at, to be honest.
Yeah,
It's
and it
just
was. It, I think it was a bit late in Moffat's era to try and spin off as well when they launched it.
Yeah.
So it was a bit like and obviously God love Peter at that stage. His era was starting to show the issues that obviously now are blaring. And I just think with Who, you're best doing a spin off that has enough of a central character that you can link back to the show. So obviously with Sarah Jane, you had Sarah Jane. With Torchwood, it was Jack Link. And then with Class, there wasn't really any characters that linked back with the show. So
yeah, but just for the name of Old High School, it's by them. He wasn't wasn't even the original building either, so it was just based off the name of the development. Wasn't the actual building that was Coval in the classic series, so it was solely based off the name, which is always going which is always going to be about a stupid concept to base a show off of.
yeah, like I said, I don't think there was a strong enough connection. Like an obvious spin off would have been, like I said, an Ace. We've all said this when they did that trailer for the Blu-rays. Like they could have done an Ace spin-off, and that could have been a bit more adult because it could have been her running like the business she has. Like there's I think you need that central character that has a connection, whether that's to the Doctor or somebody else, even at a stretch. It just it needs to have that.
She the very she the very first part that trailer. I thought it actually was going to be an ace and spin off the when I first saw the trailer because it kind of looked a bit sort of because it kind of looked a bit sort of I know if you look at it a bit more a bit more also but like yeah, but like I think an spin off would have been cool despite so all the old Jared's all
Yeah,
attempts
but she keeps that away. She
do
knows.
I do think that she is a very talented, I do think she's a very talented actress, and I do think it's been a missed sort of opportunity by the BBC that they never that they ne- there's an Orminator, yeah,
Oh,
so
I've not seen you in chats for a while, so it's nice.
yeah, I've not seen you in chats. How you doing? And I hope, yeah, and I hope he'll get the get the right result tomorrow, mate. No doubt, no doubt we'll probably scare it up, and you'll probably get a few angry messages
I will as
even
well, and
Thursday
I don't
morning.
do sports. So I
Yeah,
just thought
yeah,
if we end up chatting, like, yeah, that doesn't sound.
yeah, yeah,
He has you and Eddie to talk football with. With me, I don't know sport.
yeah. So yeah, and it's a shame that we never put a third a sort of spin off what face because there's so many different different styles of stuff. I know sticky I think that character, but they haven't, and I don't think they have one else to be honest with.
Yeah, but it's like, and I won't go too much into it, but this show is always Doctor Who. It's
Yeah,
never not had females in it. It's had so much companions villains, aliens, just side characters that are female. This show never needed what it's pretending it is right now. It always had it. And Ace is a really brilliant example. Like, even in Classic, you had Ace, you had Sarah Jane, you had Leela, you had Romana. Like, they didn't need what they've done, and it's so frustrating.
Yeah. And like as well, you get and there's and the, and yeah, and as well, you get had to like and as well you had to like you get LGBT representation as well. You had and they had Sandra and you had Captain Jack and you had uh, so you've had them representation and LGBT community within the or who as well. So like now you don't so now people that's out of this rhetoric don't have a leg to stand on basically because the Doctor Who has always been a diverse show and I mean even in season 26 I actually had but I get your um 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 Era uh, who was who was actually supposed to be the birth eggs the eggs and but it never really planned out that way. And that story, but like she was a black email, but again, yeah, and she was a very, and she was actually one of the first, she was actually one of the one of the first ethnic characters on the show. So now you don't, so now I don't buy this whole arcade. I mean, arcade. I mean, for them, he's the so-called and just came in.
Yeah, but they're doing this with so many franchises that they're pretending it's suddenly diverse. And I just, like I said with Star Wars, like you had Princess Leia, like she wasn't a
Yeah.
damsel,
Mm-hmm.
like but now they're trying to be like, oh, it's always been about mass males and male heroes, and it's like, well, and I've said this on other chats and stuff, it's insulting that you think I can only identify with something if it's female. I can identify with something because it's well written. I don't care if it's male or female. Oh, hi, Paul. Like, is a massive Cena fan, and he's male.
Yeah.
We don't just like stuff based on our gender. And it's a crazy thought, but you've got this in entertainment right now.
I will just interject here, like, all actually preferred Hercules, but he did actually watch is, you know, up until the recent game of the whole issue, all this, Elvin, Sorbo, who, spat on social media. Yeah, and like she comes a kind of also such an unhinged endeavour. Oh no, like I'm not really in. Like I've seen a couple of episodes of the, you know, and I've seen a couple of episodes of the Legends of Hercules as well. So I don't really know that whole franchise off by heart, but the fact of them are also like fans I'm a um, fans I'm a kid also like even more east than the J-Bots do. Yeah, that would be
That takes a lot.
even possible. Yeah.
That takes a lot. See, this is why I use social media for what I need to. It's nice, but I get told crazy stuff. So
Yeah.
it's just like I said, I don't understand this right now in entertainment. It's like
Yeah.
just because I'm female or just because you happen to be gay or just add whatever group to that list, that doesn't mean you have to like certain things and you should be able to like whatever you want and not let your like the stuff that you're born with or the way you live your life, whether it's choices,
Yeah.
dictate that.
Mhm. So yeah, and I mean, and so in the po into past and then as po into past them shows that actually watch is you get that demo is Batman which or get the whole complete series in well really which I mentioned earlier I've got my killer acid cube bill Rudy's as well which I think if I remember Ed these post he says that'll be out the 8th and it arch that like so we'll see what happens with that. Well,
But you're looking
probably
postage, yeah, you'll probably get it at the end of the year, mate.
oh Christ, yeah. And but yeah, I mean, yeah, and yeah, in the details of each other and the documentary events action as well and because the past couple issues of the box sets have focused on the J and E documentary and obviously the tribute to Elizabeth Sully Eden on the season 4 of Teen Bowl releases well, so it's really, so it's really, so it's Ewing is actually to actually to and what the bill relation gathers the documentaries of what's the all because actually see behind the button and get to know and get to know the people behind the scenes of it as well for February is the documentation. There's a lot of effort being put into these and to these documentaries for the Blu-rays. I have started to uh, I have started to get the Blu-rays.
Yeah, no, I've yet to watch, but I'm literally just getting into classic now, so I think it might be a bit overload. Like I'm just watching classic episodes now, so maybe at one point I will. But the amount even I can tell the documentaries from what you've told me and from what I've heard from other people, they don't skim.
Yeah.
They really go into
Mhm.
depth, which is lovely because, like you said, it's especially for fans who either grew up, who were like you, who went back. It's
Yeah.
lovely to get that more personal story or
Yeah.
approach to people like Terence or JT or
Yeah.
Sarah Jane because these we get like I sort of said like characters we get attached to actors who played the characters. We've never met these people, majority of us, but we
Yeah.
feel a connection.
And yeah.
I've never met Liz, but when I watched that tribute RTD did, it got me in tears. The goodbye
Yeah.
Sarah Jane thing he did.
Got me in tears as well when I've actually watched that, and I've actually watched that a couple of times now, but it always gets me on, to be honest with you, and I think as well, like, I don't want to touch too much in this era, but I'm kind of glad that he had killed that character and killed that character off because, like, if he hadn't, you could kind of see, and you could kind of see what would have happened, and I
Oh,
wouldn't,
it
and
was a
I
yeah,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was
and
a
like
lovely
I
end because
wouldn't want, yeah, and I wouldn't want to see that character tarnished by this either. That'd have been horrible. Can you imagine if he touched, and can you imagine if he touched either Jane? I'd be going off my nut.
yeah, and it was also to go back to stuff we like, which is the tribute.
Yeah,
It was lovely because the ending of I think she's still out there with the doctor,
mhm,
and I think that's what got a lot of fans. That it was such a Russell sort of hopeful thing as well. Like he's good at
yeah,
that. He doesn't like to you. You can tell if he can find a bit of hope or a bit of positivity in anything, he'll find it. And the fact that Rani said that, and it was like, yeah, she probably is in some way still traveling with Tom, and it was such a lovely last thing to end on.
I do, I do kind of, I'm a we kind of, and I do kind of like the Annie as well to the yeah,
Hey, what? You've got the eye, mate.
yeah,
You take the mick out of me with Paul McGann. At least I don't have like a list.
yeah.
You have a list at this point, mate.
Yeah, to be honest, I do. Um, yeah, but like, because well, she actually is my favourite character. She actually is my favourite character as well, to be honest, because you see her journey in series two to like the end, and you like really, and like it's a really enjoyable journey. Like, I mean, the cast for the show, I mean, you felt as though they were going to go on to like stardom, but it's not really
Point.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah, all the kids. Because you had
yeah.
Clyde. I don't know his actor. He's not done much, has he? Or
He's
Luke.
been in, he's been in Casualty, he was in Casualty for a wee bit of a run, but like, he's not really propelled to start.
No, because like who had like especially in the early like Russell run, there were so many actors that you forgot technically had a guest spot.
Yeah.
And it's not until you watch back you go, oh god, they were in an episode.
Mm-hmm.
And usually it was bit parts as well.
Um, uh,
Like the most high profile person I can think who had a bigger part was Sally Sparrow's actress, because that was a
yeah.
Doctor Light episode, so you actually saw quite a bit of her character in that one.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else was very bitty. But yeah, Andrew Garfield, like there's a few others that come to mind. I don't I can that I'm struggling, but I know there was quite a few actors.
Although I do kind of think Angela Garfield's a bit like R.B. Jack. Don't know, like, I've never really
He wasn't a
liked
bad
Angela
Spider-Man.
Garfield.
I didn't
Yeah,
mind
right.
Spider-Man.
And yeah, it was better as Spider-Man than he was in the Down. It's Take Manhattan
He
because
had
he's,
that American accent.
oh, shit.
That you could tell it was a British person so badly trying to be American.
He, uh,
Because I now think I've got quite an ear for like voice actors or voices, and I can tell a mile off if it's a British person trying to be American or the other way round, because there's certain ways we say words.
See, it was kind of the reason why, and Hell never succeeded as a big one in short deal, because the majority of the actors work in the voice actors and that, also trying to do an American accent just didn't really, just didn't really want to do, because the majority of the voice actors in that audio are Canadian, certainly
Yeah,
never really at the ground.
that story, it was so confused. That is a proper fever dream story. That you like, were you on something when you were writing this Big Finish? Like, did you take something?
I think the writer was either on crack or morphine, to be honest with you, because,
Which
like,
is a
oh
shame,
my god,
because that's
yeah,
got the brig in it, hasn't it? Isn't that a
yeah,
brig? Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, oh,
yeah,
this is a shame.
yeah, and yeah, because as soon as I heard that it got the, and as soon as I saw, because I usually you check the cast lists before, before Charlotte and me,
No, I
uh,
was moving and I didn't want to crackle. So
Alright. So I usually check the cast list just to see who's in it before I listen to it, and I'm like, no, I kill this Courtney's and this is
yeah,
a pretty good year, and I knew that I was going to be on, well, on its channel, reviewing and yet hell, and we're like, I remember listening to it the first time and going, what the hell am I listening? And it's just too convoluted. And those accents are bad.
yeah. See, I'm the type that if you can't do an accent, just just don't try.
Yeah.
I think it's more painful, unless like it's the character dictionary before or whatever sort of doesn't have one. But I would rather they didn't try if they can't do.
Um, uh, I mean, I've actually been covered. Right, fortunate. I've only really listened to the East stories I hate. And like, and hell, and the pirates
Which I will
obviously,
listen to at the weekend.
and I'm auto bill of it. Like I think he will be a bit more kind to it than I was. Then I was, because you're generally a kind person, whereas me, I'm just out straight, and I just
Yeah,
um, yeah, something shit.
yeah, I probably will find tiny little positives knowing me, but I don't know. Sudoku, is that to me? The no, no, don't. When I said I'm going to listen to it, I've just seen his message in the chat. Is that to me?
Remember, Charlotte, we had an giddy
No. Wait, yes,
yes,
because
we had,
you listened to Beware episode 5, so I will listen to the Pirates at the weekend.
and I have actually listened to it at least once though, because you know my general thoughts on it, but like I'll listen to it again in prep for the review. But like, even though it's not the greatest, it's not the greatest episodes. I did find slightly more positive than I was expecting to.
Yeah, I was so surprised with his reaction. I was like, I'm probably he's gonna hate this, and I didn't get rage Daniel, which I'm very surprised at.
Yeah, but it still wasn't exactly the greatest stuff. And but it was the best. It was the best you could hope for, I guess.
Yeah, that would like be. I was like, oh, he's gonna. I was like, he's probably because there's certain things, and I won't go into details. Like this is like the one thing that would probably set him off, and it didn't. So I still think that's gonna be a very fun stream, though.
Although the although the although the whole the it's I mean especially with the
Yeah,
jail house lock did annoy me.
I was like, when they started singing, I was like, oh, Daniel loves Daleks, and they're singing. Oh, this could really set him off. But
And
he's
and
got some good, so that's something.
and especially the jailhouse lock one did kinda set me off. This kind of song because like I couldn't understand them up to they were saying if it wasn't for the subtitles I'd be like that. What the hell were they saying? No,
You
it
got
wasn't a
ahead, you
very
see.
good.
I gave you subtitles.
Yeah, but like I never sang along to it. I was just like,
Oh, now you've got an image of you singing along.
yeah,
Bopping along.
never happened.
Yeah, see, I like my musicals and I like my Disney, so I'm a bit more. Like I said, I'm a bit weird. I can be very girly. I can like my Disney movies, and then I like my sort of like as a kid I watched Power Rangers and Pokemon and stuff like that, so I can go both sides of the spectrum.
Yeah. Uh, and so yeah, and so yeah, in terms of who is there any episodes that you are surprised that you gave Reba as taking the watcher arms and you've actually you said to yourself that that's actually better than what I thought it was going only be because of a few episodes that actually is surprised by that I enjoy a bit. Yeah,
There'll definitely be some
yeah,
Tenant stuff. I just can't think of any to name because I've
mhm,
definitely. I think the problem was with his first series. It really did my head in the whole Martha just being like a love sick
yeah,
puppy dog. But there
mhm,
was actually some very good stuff in that early in that one. That was it. Smith and Jones. I forgot how good Smith and Jones was.
you, and
Watch
you did,
that one again.
and you did, and the same, and obviously as well, I forgot how good the Lazarus experiment was as well.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
stayed the same to me.
maybe, I mean, I really enjoyed the Lazarus experiment. I
I
think it's
think
a great story.
I liked the stuff with Lazarus and the Doctor.
Mhm.
That whole sort of him wanting eternal life and the Doctor being no, you don't want it sort of argument. And I think for me,
Yeah,
if they would have done more of that
mhm.
instead of the sort of running around scary monster stuff, I think
Yeah,
that's what it was. I think they had some good ideas of Lazarus. And I'm
yeah,
sorry, that effect, that's aged terribly. That CG when he's a scorpion.
yeah, that has, but of course, you could get a bit of course. It's not all about CGI for me and stuff. I like that in the visual presentation because visuals again for like the sequel trilogy of Star Wars looked good, but like if the Scarab's not real, then what's the point in good visuals? I would rather take a script over a with the budget and with effects. So the story is more important to me
Oh yeah.
than the actual damn budget. I wouldn't never. Visuals just give me a good story. You don't need fancy visuals or effects. So because I'm not, because I really enjoy because I really enjoy classic brewing. You never did we had all these fancy effects on that. They had a good yeah, the good story to carry you through and getting the rest. He done so a big budget and visuals aren't all that it's cracked up to be honest.
Oh no, it's not. And like, I will admit, with the sequels, the only thing that got me through those movies was Obi-Wan. Like that
Yeah,
character, I adore. Like I'm a fan of Ewan McGregor anyway, and one that I love is Obi-Wan. That's why I'm so nervous
yeah.
that they're doing a series with him now. I'm just like, please, like, don't ruin Obi-Wan. Like, you've done it to Luke. Please don't do it with him. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I, I so love Ewan's version.
Um, so is anyone to get any questions um, before we for any shop tonight?
Yeah, we tend to do about 2 hour ish. So if you want any questions for the last 10 minutes or so,
Yeah, any questions for the last any questions for the last 10 minutes? And it's fine and, and fire eh?
and it can be anything. Like the stream, we've talked about multiple things, so don't keep it to one topic. Obviously, sensible, but you've got any ranging topics.
Mhm.
No, like I said, Obi-Wan is just the sequels. I hated basically every other character, except from him. So I'm just like, don't ruin him, please. Like,
And and I did kind of enjoy the Avenger the Sith. And I did kind of enjoy the Avenger the Sith. I know if I'm being honest, that wasn't too bad. But like, yeah,
yeah,
I mean,
that's because he learned how to act. That actor, I felt like in that movie, was he Christian Haydian?
he, you get Hayden Christensen.
Like he can do angry, and he was angry for a big chunk of that movie. So I think that's why that movie worked.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So, or any more, so what does he, so what does Rob say? More thoughts on about whether you doing any of the target? Yeah, I'll get some of the target books maybe later on in the year, and then maybe reviewing it. Like it just depends. It just depends on what money I have basically maybe look like I'll get I'm a, I'll get and maybe I'll pull and then start reviewing the them. I really want to get the Dalek novelization because I think the Dalek and maybe the TV movie will be the most interesting from the review on the channel to start off with. Uh, but Yeah, I mean the Dalek it came on a special because as I've talked about it in Aussie and in this channel um about how much that story actually means to me. So there's a Australia Australia did you see after the years doing a Dalek tribute and the new show It's a Sin? Yeah, I heard about that on stream, but to be honest with you, I'm not sure if I'm going to check. I'm not I'm not sure if I'm going to check that series out because it does look a bit of folk though, to be honest.
I'll
And
probably
like,
give it a shot.
I thought he's recent comments did kinda, it did kinda it did kinda send a shiver up my spine, and did make me think, oh my god, did I also not good to, but like as well, as well, as well that is, yours is a bit patchy as well, so like. I'm not sure if I will give it a go. I might out of morbid curiosity watch the first episode and see what it's all about and see what the fuss is. But beyond that, I'm not so sure. So, that's just yeah, question.
Ooh, that's
Here's a
hard.
hard Here's a hypothetical question. Henry Miguel or Daniel and who would you and who would you choose for the next Doctor and why and all Charlotte of us?
See, from watching him in The Witcher, I know Henry can disappear into a role, and that's sort of what you want for a doctor and an actor. You don't want to see the actor, you want to see, oh, it's the doctor. And I think it would be he's not a conventional looking actor for a doctor because, like I said, he's quite broad and he's sort of a typical superhero sort of physique, and that's not what you would think for the doctor either. So I think it would depend. But then I've not seen Daniel Radcliffe in stuff that isn't Potter, but I've heard he's very good. But I think I would struggle not to see Harry Potter because that's also a massive thing for me growing up. So I'd probably go Henry because I think also he would, if you put him in a costume and if he would put the effort in, I think as well to really become the role because he's had to do that for The Witcher and he's done a really good job. So I'd probably go Henry.
Um, I personally would go Henry as well because I think he's got a bit more preference as well. But obviously, out of the two as well, given choice, I'd pick and I'd always pick a Val over Daniel Radcliffe. That's because I really don't like Daniel Radcliffe. That's all that much either. I think he's a bit overrated. He doesn't act. So yeah, I'd probably I'd probably pick a Val over Radcliffe for those reasons. Right, I think we can up on more questions
Yeah, I
before we
can see retro.
answer.
Like Daniel probably has a bit more of an odd look. So I think if he, especially if he, I've seen him play some roles that he looks a bit scruffy. and that can sometimes work for a doctor.
And I don't kind of and I don't kind of agree with disaster areas point too. You need you need an unknown actor such as Matt Smith and Tom B. You can't. Yeah, I would agree. With that, you do need an unknown question. No problem. No problem. Kevin, as always happy to answer questions and you guys, you guys are basically this eine diesel. I dreams for me personally. You guys help the chat and you guys keep the chat going. But as then to get a couple more questions or is before we over a night.
And you've all been lovely and active in the chat tonight, so thank you for that. It does help us bounce and to have stuff to say if we've got a chat going. It's not like Daniel needs help or me usually in that regard, but it helps.
See, see, to be honest with you, I have all this out my head, but like by the time I hit the live button, half of it's just on, so it's good that I've got the live chat to go off.
No, but that's like we were like, oh, what we're going to talk about, and we hit most of it. But even I said to you, I was like, we will have a plan and we'll go off on the tangent. We always do.
And we'll probably do another one on the knees after our episode, episode 5. So in this your next conversation stream, probably, I don't know, probably after we set a probably after we set a date for episode 5, which I'll kind of have a chat to Charlotte behind behind the scenes episode 5 the episode 5 will be the thing is, so it's just all about giving us time to prep and to prep for that series as well. So anytime you see on these streams, know that it's to kind of break up the know that it's kind of to break things up and to hit until the channels and still and he and still hear me basically as well. So
And it's a nice relaxed stream because Daniel, God love him, and I listened to it a few times. So this is just, we wanted a stream where we didn't have to plan. We just were like, oh, let's just go live and talk, and whatever goes. So we will hope if you guys like this, we will do more. And these, like I said, are basically a relaxed stream for us and for you guys.
So remember, like, share, subscribe. If you like the stream, check out them and check out them. I mean, the this episode or the episode and the episodes for Eve. You already, if you haven't already, and already. I think that we're up to 117 views on as well. Uh, 26 um 26 of you guys will like, and you did get one offside this one. A video, but what can you do? I mean, I'm trying to branch out of it and like, um, I'll have one of these faces, you either like me or you don't, so. So yeah, I mean, yeah, so yes, thanks for the support. Check out the episode. Check out the episode. Check out the episode for the review. We'll be back with we'll be back again with episode 5 soon, and we'll schedule for our next general conversation. But Calvin, if your shout outs before we wrap up tonight.
So, Dan from the Spacebook, I will be now and again on his streams, so give him a like and check out his videos. He does lots of interesting things. I'm a bit more, I'm semi-regular on the TARDIS Zone, so I'll be on classic watch-alongs or TARDIS Zone talks. And with Daniel, I'll be doing Beware and these streams.
Yeah, I mean, check out my two Facebook gimmicks as well. Daniel's and Big Funny Shop and Daniel's and YouTube Hub Charlotte's and admin on the way. So if you want to interact with Charlotte outside streams, you can interact with her on my two Facebook gimmicks.
And I'll try and be a bit more active, but I've recently been settling into a job. So hopefully I can be a bit more active now I've settled a bit more in those.
And in terms of myself, you've obviously, and in terms of myself, I'm just going to say out straight, I'm the only YouTuber offering, offering the year odd and the audio series episodic and as well we've had some incredible in some of the episode discussions. We've even had some of the us actually write actually write comments in the comments section on past episodes. So check out the episode and for stream as well. Because it was the best and it was the best discussion we've had so far and these on these reviews. And if you haven't checked out your channel, please also about it his channel and to my featured channels. But until my next stream, guys, on my next stream, guys, stay safe and take care. And I'll see you again. Whenever I decide to do the next show. I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing yet. But yeah, episode 5 and probably episode 2. Excellent conversations is coming soon, but take care, stay safe, and thanks for the continued support.